gimmicks. Yeah. No gimmicks, taking over, no limits. Motivation, the truth inside everything you are hearing. Reporting live, know you feel it. Wrestling is everything that we won't know what special meaning. We on it live with no gimmicks. No gimmicks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Todd Smith here once again, alongside my tag team partner Dale Clifford out there in Nevada. Welcome to yet another episode of the No Gimmicks Podcast, broadcasting on the 3 and Out Radio Network. Dale, it has been a while, my man. What's good?
It has been a decent while. What is good is I have a new place of living now, so
as we can see,
that has changed some things, and obviously now I have a little bit more decor to my my setup for myself here, and just finally glad to be able to get back to things and looking forward to tonight's interview.
Damn straight, man. I was getting tired of flying solo by myself here. So we have some company here from the state of North Carolina. So joining us this week on the No Gimmicks Podcast is Miss Katie Sparks. Katie, how are you, miss?
I'm doing just fine. How are y'all doing tonight?
Doing good. Great to see you. So, hey, we're going to go ahead and start this off here. So we understand that you're fairly new to the pro wrestling business.
Yes, I am.
So please go ahead.
I'm about 2 years deep as far as actually coming around independent shows and things like that. And I'm about 1.5 years into actually working on shows myself. So I took a little bit of time off when I first got started just to kind of gather my head and to overcome a couple of injuries and personal things and things like that. But from probably about the last 6 or 8 months or so on, it's been nonstop. And I could not love it any more than I do.
Right on. Well, yeah, we're glad to hear that's treating you well and everything. So, Dale, what you got for Katie?
So you're kind of a dual threat as a valet and a ring announcer. So tell us a little bit, our viewers, who have a second to the ring. Also, which companies you've worked for as an announcer.
As an announcer, I got my start at a small promotion in North Carolina called NAWA. They are actually the first company that ever gave me a chance to do any work. They kind of handed me the reins the first time I ever worked and said, it's your show, here you go, prove yourself. And it was extremely terrifying and very intimidating, but as I announced my first match and after that just fell in love. So I got my start at NAWA and I've worked in-ring announcing at PW, absolutely love, that runs out of Charlotte as well. I work in-ring at PWF out of Hubert, North Carolina as an announcer. I work a couple other promotions here and there that I'm not a regular at, but should I need to fill in for somebody or come in and kind of announce as a guest announcer for a match or two throughout the show, I do that as well. I've done that a couple times at Palmetto Championship Wrestling here in Columbia, South Carolina, known as PCW. I've had a couple companies with a little bit of, backing behind them give me opportunities, and I'm forever grateful.
Right on. So now the one company that you mentioned, PWX, that's Premier Wrestling Experience, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now about a week or so ago, I had the opportunity to speak with Robin Golfin, who's a member of the Shine Squad. He's a part of that company as well. So what has your experience been like crossing paths with some of those guys along the way?
It's been amazing. I mean, I'm the type of person that genuinely believes that there is something to be learned from absolutely everybody that you come into contact with. Even if it's somebody that, may not have the most important and impressive resume behind them. I believe that everybody in this business has such a work ethic and they have such a good head on their shoulders as far as, achieving goals and things like that, that there's so much to learn from everybody that you come in contact with. Some things I do think you have to take with a grain of salt from anybody, but, that's also part of learning and growing, is being able to differentiate things like that for yourself. But everybody that I have come into contact with, especially those guys, have been top notch.
So, yeah, speaking of which here, so it sounds like you have made quite a bit of progress in the short amount of time that you've been in the business. One of the accolades that I guess you could say is you actually were nominated as Ring Announcer of the Year. So please tell us how that came to be.
I wish I could tell you. I know that I was very, very, very shocked and may have jumped around and cried a little bit out of happiness and joy and everything. But I think because 2017 was the year where I started to gain momentum, and by the end of the year, I was working pretty steadily at bigger promotions such as PWX. I was getting a little bit of familiarity there. I think that's kind of where it came about, where I had started to get my face out there a little bit more and worked with some people that, you know, have been nominated for things themselves and kind of became on the same radar that they were for the first time. Mm-hmm. So I think that is the only thing I can think of, because I was blown away. I was so unbelievably flattered and just honored to have even been considered for a nomination.
Yes, very cool. So I hate to, ask this, but I guess I need to. So who actually wound up getting the Ring Announcer of the Year that year if it wasn't yourself?
Very, very much deserved. It was Brett Wolverton.
Okay.
He is somebody that I have worked with at PWX and have looked up to since I first started coming around the business. So I was very, very glad to see him take that home.
Right on. Well, at least it's somebody who you could, say that you have a respect for and whatnot in the business. So that works out then. Dale, what you got next for Katie?
So obviously you were a valet and a ring announcer. Any thoughts of ever stepping into the ring as a wrestler?
I would love to step in the ring as a wrestler. Yes. I got bit by the bug a little bit managing, because I did get involved in a couple physical things. And as soon as I got involved in that, I was like, ooh, maybe I do want to do this, because I always told myself I would be content with just announcing or managing and being at ringside. But then I got pulled into a couple of things, and that definitely kind of lit a fire under me. So I'm thinking about maybe training one day.
I don't suppose. Go ahead, Dale.
I was going to say, it was like, who might be a dream opponent for you?
Ooh. I think if I could wrestle any female, past or present, it would probably be Lita. She was a big influence of mine when I first got started. She was somebody that I said, I want to be like her. Okay. So that would probably be the ultimate for me.
Fellow North Carolinian. So
yeah.
Let's put it this way. This is 2018, all right? So we're open-minded here at the No Gimmicks Podcast. It don't have to be a female opponent. What male would you like to step in between the ropes and mix it up with? Brian
Kendrick.
Why?
Without a doubt. He has been my favorite wrestler, male or female, for a couple of years, ever since he came back. He kind of made his comeback and everything. And even his older stuff was something that I always admired, always watched. Maybe on the independent circuits, somebody that I have worked with and always admired, Sami Callihan. I think would be very, very fun to work with.
Ooh, that could get rough though, Katie. You ready for
oh yeah,
all the
I'm tough. I can look.
That dude, he is no joke, man. He's got the old, what them dudes call Ohio versus everything boys with him. I mean, they be pulling out bats on people and stuff like that. You prepare for all that?
Oh, I'm prepared, because I've been known to pull out a weapon or two.
Oh, okay. All right, Katie don't play. Hey, so got another one for you, since we're kind of like on the topic of dream, scenarios. Besides WrestleMania, because I'm quite sure that's like, often the goal of many people in the business, what would you say would be the top event in the pro wrestling business that you would like to be a ring announcer for? Wrestle Kingdom, perhaps?
I think I would say so, yes.
Okay.
Besides WrestleMania, because like you said, if you're in the wrestling business, that is your dream. That's everybody's dream. But I think Wrestle Kingdom, too. Definitely up there.
Very cool. Do you know Japanese by chance?
I do not know any Japanese, no.
Okay.
That's
that for you. I guess you'd have to be able to say in both English and in Japanese, right?
Yes, I would be willing to learn. Absolutely.
All right. Very cool. Del, what you got next for Katie?
So you have an interest in the subject of nutrition. So
I do.
Once you kind of finish studying, what are your plans to expand on that?
Once I finish my schooling.
Are you kind of like studying it?
Yes, I am currently a student at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and I'm studying towards achieving my health coach certification. And once I finish that and have my full certification and everything like that, I'm planning on opening my own health coaching business and working independently, adopting clients and I think being a health coach is kind of a long-term thing. It's not one of those things where you meet with somebody one time and set them up and then you let them go. You are kind of holding their hand through the process of changing their life. And it's not just about working out and about eating healthy. It's about making total life changes that are contributing to things in your life that you're unhappy with. And a health coach kind of helps guide you towards bettering your own life versus just saying, eat this and do this workout. They kind of help you develop your own plan and support you along the way. So when you adopt a client, you are with them probably for a good, I would say about 6 months on average, helping them make those changes and see those changes. And I want to open my own business and start my own business from the ground up, where I'm very much a big, big part in my clients' lives after they've put their trust in me to help them better themselves. So those are my plans for after graduation, and I'll be finished with school. It looks like May of next year. Definitely. So
okay,
I'm already working towards coming up with a couple ideas and things in my head. And it's a long process, but I love it.
Sounds like a pretty solid plan to me, Katie. So what I have next for you is, you had told me when we had spoken prior that you were an animal lover. So I'm just kind of curious, how many and what types of pets do you actually have?
All right. So I split my time right now between Charlotte, North Carolina, and Columbia, South Carolina. Okay. So with me here in Columbia, currently I am house sitting 2 cats. Okay. So at the apartment, I have 2 cats of a client. I was a full-time pet sitter before I started working another job and started getting involved in the wrestling business. I was a full-time pet care provider. So these are 2 of my former clients that are building a new house, and they had to rehome their cats for about 6 months. So I agreed to take them on. So I'm saying, of course, because I'm such an animal lover, that they're mine now. So I currently have 2 cats in Columbia, as well as a ferret named Gomez.
Ferrets are funny, man.
Yes. Oh my gosh. He is a ball every single day. Mm-hmm. So I have those 3 with me in Columbia. And then back home in Charlotte, I have 2 pet snakes and a black cat. And they are all my babies.
So let's talk about the snakes for a second, because I'm not afraid of snakes. I've actually held about I'd say that snake had to have been about 12 feet long a couple of years ago. It was a python. And those suckers are heavy. You know, a lot of people are intimidated and scared by snakes. What like breed of snakes do you have? And tell us a little bit about them.
Before I adopted the baby corn snake that I have now, I had an albino okatee corn snake and a ball python. But my ball python unfortunately passed away last year. And after she passed, I adopted a baby corn snake. He's just a normal morph and everything, but I love him. He was kind of the problem child. The pet store where I got him from said that they had several of these snakes living together in the same cage, and all of his cage mates had been adopted, and he was the lone survivor. So she said, for whatever reason, nobody is taking him. And I held him and interacted with him. And being the person that I am, well, I have to save him. He has to be mine. And he's been mine ever since.
All right. So backtracking here for a second to the question that Dale had asked about, you crossing over as a wrestler. I'm just curious, if you were to make that transition, are we going to see either one of those 2 snakes possibly making their way to the ring with you, maybe like as part of your gimmick or something?
You might see a little bit of Kate the snake. Yes.
Okay. All right. I like that. That has a better ring to it than what I was going to come up with. I was going to say Katie the Snake Sparks, but Kate the Snake, yeah, that works. That rolls off the tongue very well.
Let's do it.
All right, now. Very good stuff there. So, Dale, what you got next for Katie?
So snakes are often in horror movies. Horror movies obviously tend to Halloween. Halloween seems to be a thing that you are very much in favor of. So obviously we all know a new Halloween movie is getting ready to come out. Any plans to go check that out?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I'm absolutely thrilled. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. And John and I also last month purchased tickets to go to Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights. Nice. I've never been before, and I am so excited. And I'm hoping, they've only announced, I think, 4 out of the 10 houses. They're doing 10 houses this year, which is apparently as many as they have ever done. And I believe now they've announced 4 of them. So I'm hoping maybe one of the other 6 might be something to do with the new Halloween movie. I've got my fingers crossed for it.
See, I got two friends back in Nevada by the names of Dustin Ripper Thomas and also Ellie, his wife. They are huge fans of the whole Halloween haunt thing. So they used to talk to me about this, and like for my love of horror films as well, it used to be an often topic of conversation. So if you happen to run into them, you know, or hey, Dustin, Ellie, if y'all watching this episode of No Gimmicks Podcast, you see Kelly or Katie, say hello to her while you're out there in Orlando. Definitely would like for y'all to link up. That'd be good stuff.
Be fun.
So, question for you, following up on the whole Halloween thing here.
Yes.
Are you aware of the timelines and how this thing all works out? Because a lot of people seem to be confused about how things are working out with this Halloween film, that it's actually a follow-up 40 years after the first film. Were you aware of that?
I had heard about it. I think when everything first came out that there was a remake being made. I remember reading about that and being a little bewildered about it. I haven't really done too much research into the plot and how they're going about things. I just know that I'm one of those people that I try not to overanalyze remakes and things like that because I feel like you set yourself up for disappointment. So I just am taking it for what it is. I'm very excited. I hope that it lives up to what people are hoping that it will be because I don't want to be disappointed. But I have heard that it's 40 years.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I'm telling you, chill bumps were just all over my skin. I was like, ooh, when I heard the music, you know, because the fact that John Carpenter is actually a partist too. You hear that theme, you know, dun, 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 dun. You see Michael standing out there in the yard in the sanitarium and all that. I was just like, oh boy, this is gonna be good. And Jamie, she's ready for him too. It looks like she's been.
She is, yeah.
So, it should be interesting to see how it all goes. And I want closure. I don't know about
Me too. Yes. Yes.
I would be satisfied if Mike and Jamie Lee Curtis's character, what's her name, Laurie Strode, if they just go ahead and kill each other both off once and for all, we don't have to worry about any more sequels. There's been about 10 of them or something like that, I think, at this point. So
exactly, they can be different and be the first follow-up to ever actually put the scenario to bed.
Yes, let that happen.
They allude to it, and it becomes the final chapter, and then it becomes the final chapter part 2. And just let it die, man. Just finish it off.
That's how it was with Jason. I think, what was it? Part 4 was the final chapter, and about another 6 or 7 movies came after. Jason was up in space and all this stuff. Yeah. All right. So now, hey, this next portion of No Gimmicks Podcast, Katie, is called Sparks Will Fly. Okay. So this section is tailored to you here, miss. So these are going to be a couple of questions. It shouldn't take too long for you to answer. So my first question I have for you here is, well, being from out there in North Carolina, if you have to choose a place to go get your eat on after the show, would it be Zaxby's or Bojangles? Which one?
Ooh. See, because of my affiliation with George South, I feel like I have to say Bojangles.
Oh, okay.
But I may have to go with Zaxby's just because I had it last night on the way home from a show in Georgia, and I forgot how well it hits the spot.
Okay, I've never had either. I can't wait to check them out when I make my way down there. I plan on taking a trip down there. Yeah, Del, what you got next?
Both, and then you have to answer the same question to me.
All right, not a problem. I can do that. Del, what you got next for Katie?
The UNC Tar Heels or the Duke Blue Devils?
Man, shots are being fired tonight.
That's a big one too.
I'm gonna have to say Blue Devils.
How come? How come, Katie? Tell us.
I've got several friends that pull for the Blue Devils, and not having an opinion myself, I feel like I have to be a bandwagoner and say, well, my friends like them. Although I could, for argument's sake, and to make all my friends mad at me, say go Tar Heels.
I like the Tar Heels personally, but Coach K is the man. No denying Coach K. You know what I mean? All right. So this one here, you happen to be a hip hop fan at all?
A little bit.
Okay. So favorite North Carolina MC, J. Cole, Night Wonder, or P.D. Pablo?
J. Cole.
Okay. What's your favorite track from J. Cole?
Oh man. Give me a top 3 and I'll pick.
I kind of like that one that we were playing on the NBA Finals promos not too long ago. Count it up. counting up, counting up, counting
That
up.
was him?
Counting. Yeah. You can take it with you die, but you can't live without it. That one, that's J. Cole.
That was good.
That's like one that just comes off the top of my head that I could think of. I know there's more that we can probably use as promo music at ESPN. But like when I think of PD Pablo, you know, it's North Carolina, stand up, take your shirt off, wave around your head like a helicopter. You remember that dude, don't you?
Yes.
That's going back a little bit. That's going back maybe about a good 10 years or so. And then Night Wonder, that one's a little bit more underground. That's like for the underground hip hop folks like myself.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But you said J. Cole.
Yes.
All right. Nothing wrong with J. Cole. Dale, what you got next for Katie?
All right. So there are two pretty famous North Carolina boys that are in the WWE. So if you could choose to manage one of them, which one would it be, Matt or Jeff?
Because my dream match would be with Lita, I'm going to have to go with Jeff.
Okay. All right. Or I don't know.
I'm fortunate enough to interact with Jeff at a show last year.
Would Edge possibly be with Lita instead? I know that's old news. I know. In any case, thanks for answering those questions for us, Katie. So, hey, at this time, we would like to give you the opportunity to promote any upcoming shows, appearances, projects which you're involved in. So without further ado, Miss Katie Sparks, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very, very much. This weekend, I will be traveling to Maryland for the Shamrock Cup. We will be there Friday the 13th and Saturday the 14th. I will be coming out to the ring with John Schuyler, and it's going to be a blast. I cannot wait. And then on the 15th, I will not be working, but I will be making an appearance at OSCW in Charleston, South Carolina. And I am very excited for both of them. And then next weekend, July 22nd, I will be at Too Close for Comfort 2, PWX versus Fest Wrestling. And I'm thrilled for that as well. That is going to be a party.
All right. Sounds like a blast to me. I wish I could be there. Also, tell our viewers how they can stay in touch with you via social media, Katie.
To stay in touch with me over social media, please find me on Facebook, and you can also follow me on Instagram at @KatieSparks. I would love to hear from you. I try to be very interactive on my social media, so strike up a conversation and let's have fun.
All right. Sounds good to us. Hey, so one thing is for sure, we wish we could sit up here and talk with Miss Katie Sparks all night long, but unfortunately, we came to the end of this episode of No Gimmicks Podcast. So thank you for joining us with Miss Katie Sparks. This has been another episode of No Gimmicks Podcast. We are No Gimmicks, No Image, all wrestling all the time. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share our videos.
No gimmicks. Yeah. No gimmicks, taking over, no limits. Motivation, the truth inside everything you are hearing. Reporting live, know you feel it. Wrestling is everything that we will know with special meaning. We on it live with no gimmicks.